Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Cricket Field End podcast with Pete and Dan. We're going to be touching upon the last few games, including Cardiff, Bournemouth and Wolves, and we're going to have a quick look ahead to the last remaining games. And then we're going to have a quick touch on everything else sort of formed from Christmas, and a quick acknowledgement to the other recent Claret successes, including the BFC Women as well.
We're also going to talk about Scott Cunliffe's Runaway challenge nearing its end now, and his latest run which started today, which was Chelsea away, so good luck to him.
Right, well, first things first, I think we should acknowledge that we have been a little bit quiet in 2019. A few technical issues have hampered our progress with the podcast. We had recorded a couple, I think it was one in February and one sort of back end of March, and just due to some computer issues, we've just struggled to get them uploaded, and sadly we lost the data. So here we are, third time lucky. We'll give this one a go, and hopefully we'll get this one off the ground.
So we started off with a victory at Turf Moor against Wolves, 7th place Wolves at the time. I mean, good result for us.
Yeah, very good win. I think we spoke about before the game, didn't we? That they had the semi-final to look forward to, and that was a bit of a welcome distraction for us, really. That there was a team coming in with something else to think about, and I know a lot of people, they're saying, oh well, Wolves will concentrate on getting 7th, but for me, that was their game at Wembley against Watford was a fantastic opportunity to get to a major final of a big competition, and sadly for Wolves it didn't work out for them. But in terms of the league win, it was a great 3 points.
So I've seen a lot of people say that like Wolves are trying to emulate what we did in 11 when we finished up in that 7th position. But when you look at it, I don't see it like that. I mean, look, they've splashed the cash like no tomorrow, where we literally fought there on grit and determination.
It was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're a fantastic side, but like you say, for the investment that they've made, they absolutely should be. I mean, the fact that they're going to sign this. Is it Raul Jimenez? They agreed a £35 million deal to sign him in the summer after having him on loan on big money wages, but we can't compete with that. There's no way that, unless we get a big investor like they've got coming in and offering us those kind of platforms to go and spend 20, 25, 30, 35 million on a player, it's just not going to happen at Turf Moor. I think in terms of, like you've just touched on there about Wolves and teams of that ilk looking to finish 7th this season, There's a few in there, and like we did last season, we had a little bit of indifferent form in that second half of the campaign. I mean, admittedly we picked up a few really cracking wins here and there, but it was indifferent. And I think Wolves have been a little bit like that themselves. They go and beat United, and then they'll lose to us. But it is the nature of the beast of the Premier League, isn't it? But
of course it is.
I think that was the kind of game that we had to capitalise on, while they had a distraction of an FA Cup semi-final to think about following us.
Especially with the position we were in the league. I mean, we needed. Well, we've mentioned, haven't we? We touched upon it that we needed points from. You'd expect to get 3 points from here, 3 points from.
Well, like you said, we had a chat before the game, didn't we? And I think strangely, I think the last 7 games, I said to you that I can see 10 points. The first game in to pick up 3 massive points against. Wolves side, like you say, heavily invested, and at the right end of the table, they absolutely deserve where they are. They deserve to be there. Investment doesn't always pay off, as Fulham have proved. Fair play, they got a cracking manager, and seems a bit of talk about him being linked with a Chelsea job next season, which that speaks volumes about the kind of manager he is.
So moving on from the Wolves game, Bournemouth away, always a tough place to go to.
Yeah, I didn't get to the game myself. I was sadly being dragged around the shops in Burnley Centre, and I'd literally driven from town in about 10 to 3, got to town, parked up, walked into the first shop, and we were 1-0 down. I thought, well, there we are, this is going to set the tone for the day. But what a fantastic turnaround.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, at first, I managed to watch it online, dodgy feeds and all that. But to be fair, I didn't even think it were an orgy at first, and then after watching it back,
great header,
brilliant header. other end of pitch, you'd have been lapping it up like no tomorrow. But it just showed the determination of us to turn it around. And under Dash, we've not done that a lot, where we've turned the result on its head.
5th game, was it, under Dash's reign at Premier League, that I think we've turned, just a deficit into a win. You know, and it's good to see. You know, that there's that character there. Certainly when we're going through such a testing period as well.
It weren't long after either, was it? It was like the own goal happened. There were probably a good, I think,
quarter of an hour or so, was it?
Yeah, something like that. And then within 2 minutes, it's, you know, we're 2-1 up.
I think again, you know, McNeil instrumental in the Westwood goal, which, you know, took that superbly. You know, such a good goal. You know, Chris Wood getting on the score sheet again. You know, it's always nice to see. You know, I mean, he's had some stake. You know, fair play to the lad. You know, he's chipped away. You know, his goal tally's going up week by week, and it's great to see. You know, both, you know, the main strikers both hit double figures.
That's what I mean. I mean, a lot of people criticise Chris Wood. You know, me and you have done it ourselves, but
of course we have.
But then you look at the stats and things, and you think we've got a 10-goal a season striker here.
Now we've got luxury too.
Yeah, it was similar season before, wasn't it? So.
You know, I think, you know, that win at Bournemouth to go down there, you know, a Bournemouth team again, massive investment, you know, a billionaire Russian owner. We're competing with, you know, not necessarily big clubs in terms of, you know, what people determine to be a big club, but heavily invested, heavily backed clubs. You know, the money they've spent, you know, 19 million on Dominic Solanke. On what planet? You know what I mean? It's crazy money.
What's he done at Liverpool to deserve
crazy
that?
Money. Well, a couple of seasons, it might turn out to be a really, really good signing for them. Certainly, if they lose Callum Wilson in the summer, if he gets a move elsewhere.
I mean, he was linked with Chelsea as well, wasn't he? I mean, especially with their striker problems they have. Obviously Giroud's cracking on, Higuain on loan. I mean, it's nothing permanent. But then,
I tell you where I could see Wilson end up, somewhere like Spurs.
But then would he getting over Harry Kane?
Probably not, but I think, you know, if Son, you know, who for me,
another one.
Son should be played through the middle for me. I think Tottenham, you watch their games, that they look better without Kane. I think there's just so much emphasis on, you know, Harry Kane, that Son gets so vastly overlooked. But maybe if, you know, Spurs were looking to have a different option, I think Wilson would offer them something different, and probably a little bit more than someone like Fernando Llorente. You know, so if it's a different option for them, then I think he'd fit into a Spurs side, to be honest. Certainly with the way Pochettino has his team playing.
Yeah, it's like you say, Wilson's a good player. I'll tell you another player that stood out for me in the Bournemouth side. Brooks, young lad.
Very good player. Very good player.
Just like a right side of midfield McNeil for me.
Young,
really good.
no fear, good on the ball. In fairness, I liked him when he was at Sheffield United last season. You know, saw him playing Championship a couple of times, and even then looked, you know, for such a young lad, looked so composed on the ball. But you know, there's a few players in their team that have probably overperformed this season. You know, like Ryan Fraser. You know, again, cracking little player. And I'm going to say a little bit cheesed off that I had Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser on my fantasy football team bench this week, and I lost out on about 27 points. So, you know, not particularly happy with that. But yeah, I think going back to the Bournemouth win, I think having that character and that sort of desire, the ability of turning a 1-0 sort of, loss at the time as it was so early doors into such a good win. You know, there were a couple of chances that we probably could have extended it, and it's good to come away from somewhere like that with, you know, another big 3 points. So from, you know, when we were chatting before the Wolves game of saying there's 10 points in this last 7 games somewhere, all of a sudden we've got 6 in the first 2 games. So you couldn't really have asked for much more, and certainly after that Bournemouth game, things start to look a little bit more comfortable heading into that Cardiff game.
Well, that brings us to the Cardiff game. For me, that was it. No matter what, the 6 points, yeah, it gave us a solid foundation. What was it, 11 points at the time?
8, wasn't it?
8. Yeah. And still going into that, I mean, Cardiff still have, you know, we looked at the runnings, didn't we, as well, for the us, Brighton, Southampton, Cardiff. Yeah. You know, last day of season we're at home to Arsenal, Cardiff away at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
I mean, so either way, that Cardiff game for us was huge, massive,
wasn't it?
It was the cushion we needed, and you know, thank God we walked away after 90 minutes. You know what? I'm going to say it. Undeserving winners.
Perhaps a little bit. I don't think, you know, I mean, Cardiff came out, you know, kicking and screaming that second half, and you know they could
literally.
Yeah, they had a couple of penalty shouts. Ben Mee handball one for me I know it's going to sound biased, wasn't handball. He headed it onto his own arm. There's absolutely nothing
Is
he
that
can
the
do.
second one? I'm going to say
second one, yeah,
the first one. I don't think you can give that. Is that where Arthur's turned and he's hit it?
Yeah.
But Ben Meeks
He
kind of
stood-
like jumped and his hands by his side.
He stood about 6 foot away. I'm not sure if it was Danny Murphy on Match of the Day. So no, it's a penalty. He stood right in the way of the goal. Well, no, what's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to move his hands out of the way?
As a defender, you are supposed to defend that goal. So that's his job. That's his purpose. This is another thing I said to Wills, to be fair, in pub afterwards. I said that we should have, that no matter which way you look at it, if you had a defender sat on Match of the Day, they'd say, no, that's not a penalty. He's got no chance. The ball's coming at you that fast, and you practically, me to you away whilst doing this podcast. How are you supposed to have the time to even turn? His arm's still by his side.
Yeah.
But then you stick a striker there. Oh, definitely Stonewall.
Yeah.
It ratios between who you ask.
Yeah. I think the Gunnarsson one, I must admit at the time, it looked like he'd been clipped, but then watching it back, there was a clear shove by Gunnarsson on Taylor.
Yeah,
when Taylor hits
somebody
the deck,
told me this in Hargreaves. They said that it
his
was
leg flicks up and does catch him. Undoubtedly catches Gunnarsson, but he's had the push first. So if you actually watch it and slow it right down, you can see it's a clear, as clear a push as you're going to see.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, the touch comes in, but as he's not anticipating the push, and he's already stuck his foot out to challenge for the ball again. I can see it being one of those where 50-50 you see him given, some you don't.
I don't doubt that there are other referees that would have given at least one of those penalties, but we're right as luck.
Speaking of which, did you see the bit how Sky Sports have Dermot Gallagher analysing the refereeing decisions? He came out and said that Mike Riley got every decision spot on.
I think he did.
They weren't penalties, although he said the first goal of ours should have been ruled out because Ashley Barnes was stood in an offside position and interfering with the goalkeeper.
I can sort of see that a little bit. It's one of them. If you watch every single corner of ours from Cardiff, they were put on the keeper.
Yeah.
And it was there to pressure. If the linesman and the referee can't see that after a couple of attempts, then I'm sorry. If we've managed to ride a bit of luck there, then
the thing is though,
we'll
Cardiff were lucky as well. I mean, to be fair, Etheridge kept a minute at 1-0 until that dying minutes because
Westwood had chances.
Two Stonewall chances.
Yeah.
To bury it, and he put them both the same way each time, and keeper got to him.
And that's the thing. I think if you've got somebody with a little bit more, how can I put it, regular goal scoring confidence, I don't think Westwood's ever going to be a goal scoring midfielder who bags you maybe 5 or 6 a season. He's not that kind of player, but the work that he does do far outweighs the stuff that he doesn't.
I think it was the way he got the goals. I mean, the position he got in.
Yeah.
How far he got into the box. It was just so easy to slot away from a striker's point of view, perspective. Yeah. But then, I suppose maybe he's also give himself less time to think. He's so close to the keeper. He's now having to panic on where do I put it, what do I do?
Yeah.
So but
we can't complain.
No,
can we? We got the 3 points, and that was the main thing. And again, good to see Chris Wood getting on the score sheet. 2 massive goals. The header, the first goal was such a superb header.
Second one, I think he's done a Nugent for England, hasn't he, and just porched it in on line.
Yeah,
otherwise, I think would it have been an own goal?
It could have been an own goal off either the defender or the keeper, couldn't it? He just took a nick off one, bounce off the other, and it's looped up in the air. But fair play, you've still got to get in them positions. And again, huge credit goes to McNeil. I wouldn't necessarily say that we run the risk of losing him. I think the way they've looked at it with Burnley is we run the risk of not keeping hold of him, and I know that's very much the same outcome. You've got to keep a hold of talents like that. And I know he's signed his first professional deal and stuff, but to see the impact that he's had
as well, isn't it? I mean, it's even if somebody does come in the summer, at least we've got his next, his nurturing years still pretty much.
He's just going to be such a talent. I think the worry is, you don't want to. I mean, we've said this before. You don't want to burn him out too soon and put so much emphasis on such a young player. But on the flip side of that, he's got such confidence, you just think, let him do his stuff. You just don't want him being sussed out too soon in his career either, because he is so predominantly left-footed. A major comparison to look at though is somebody like Ryan Giggs. I'm not for 1 minute saying he's going to have the career like Ryan Giggs did, But in terms of somebody who was so ridiculously one-footed,
Yeah.
it can be worked out quite quickly. So I think he's going to have to learn to adapt to how he can make changes in games.
The thing is, he's quite skillful as well. So how many times have we seen him take 3 or 4 people on?
His balance is superb.
For a young lad, my only problem with all this, like especially reports that have come out. You know, apparently Arsenal have been sent a scout out for the past few weeks or whatever.
City, Everton.
Yeah, even Newcastle. But why Newcastle for all teams? But I don't want him to be another one of them youngsters in the Premier League, like Patrick Bamford.
Yeah.
You know, you see these youngsters now. They come in, they walk in. Back in there, right, £100 for a week. They're now 19 years old, 18-year-old, say even, 17-year-old. They're walking in and they're getting thousands and thousands.
£20 a week.
Yeah,
It's balmy. I mean, there was one that I saw for Chelsea. And he rocked up in some flash. I think it was like a BMW and all that. There's no. I don't know. I think
it's not working your way to the top anymore. In a way,
it's almost like it's a given from the start. And there's so many ex-players who've come out and said rather than give these players that kind of money at that age and just ruin them, put them on like a basic. You should have paid them that money, put the rest into a fund or a trust of some sort that they can only access when they're older and they need it. And there's not that urge or desire to go out and splurge that money. I mean, I know we've gone off topic a little bit there with the thing, but like I said, going back to McNeil, if it's going to take a bigger contract to tie him down and to keep him here, to keep him out of the clutches of a bigger club who are just going to sign him, stick him, as a Carabao Cup player or farm him out on loan somewhere, and they're just going to cherry pick the best talent, I'd rather just take a punt on keeping him, build a team around him.
Yeah. It reminds me of of when we had Wade Elliott, who at the beginning
direct
bombed down that left or right, wherever we needed, and did what we asked of him. After a while, with Wade Elliott though, for me, I started to see periods where he had to where he started cutting in.
He did get pushed more into the middle as well, though.
Yeah.
Did Elliott the latter end of his time here, but I think what's been interesting for me with McNeil is as well how much McNeil has changed Dyche's look on wingers. Bearing in mind for how long we had, say, Lennon and Goodmanson, it was a left footer on the right and a right footer on the left. It was cutting in. Whereas since McNeil's been put into the fold, it's a left footer on the left and a right footer, mainly Hendrick, out on that right. I don't think you can criticise what Hendrick's done. I think people will criticise Jeff Hendrick. I think he's been fine. In fact, I think he's probably given some of his best performance as well on the right. It's just been interesting to see how Dyche has completely changed the emphasis on sort of a left or a right footer playing on the left side rather than cutting in all the time.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I didn't look at it like you just said. To be fair, I just but when you look at it from that point of view, yeah, you have got opposite foot on opposite sides, and you're trying to play them both like they're a poor man's Iron Robin, and
it's just
they're
so
not.
predictable. It's ever so predictable. But the fact that you got McNeil now, who gets the ball head down, will turn defenders inside out and put a ball into the box. How long have I been screaming for a player who can cross a ball? The thing is, we've got it, but the way that they've been played, like putting Lennon on the left. Admittedly, there was a game. I think it was City last season. There was a game where they had Goodmanson on the left, Lennon on the right, and it just wasn't working. They switched, bang, goal straight, almost immediately. Yeah. But it had that impact. Maybe the players just need that bit of freedom to say, look, give it 10 minutes, right? Come on, we'll give it a switch, and mix it up a little bit. Sometimes it's all a bit one-dimensional. But I must admit, since McNeil's come in, he's given us such a direct threat going forward, and I think the stats have proved that. I think he's sort of rated the 5th best player in Europe based on involvement, chances
in the Premier League.
Goal
in the Premier League, he's top, I think. Well, this is what brings me to while we're still on the subject of McNeil, that players like Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, I don't doubt his ability. He has got the ability, but how he has gained a full England cap where
before a first league start,
before even a league start, that for me isn't. I mean, this is a young 19-year-old lad that's come in,
grafted.
Of course he's grafted. I mean, he's been told by Manchester United as a kid, no, we're not keeping you on because you set pieces and stuff are rubbish. You can see he's worked at that. You can see how much he's worked at that, and
not just that. For me, comments like that are so idle.
Yeah.
You think, train the lad. I thought that's the whole point of developing youth. Train them, coach them, work with them. You work with these players day in, day out. You know, you can work on that. Me and you could go to a football pitch now and do nothing but practice corners, practice free kicks, and pick a spot where you want that ball to go, and you don't stop until you start finding it regular. It's easily coached.
The thing is, I suppose you see it everywhere. Look, we could look down on back of Burnley's history. I could name 2 players now that have kind of come through a youth system, and they've gone elsewhere because they've been told they weren't good enough. Lee Dixon, Arsenal legend, and he's, you know, I think he had 1 game for Burnley, didn't he? Apparently he didn't get rated, and they went, see in a bit. Andy Payton under Arthur Bellamy's wing. Arthur Bellamy says, no, you're a little too small or whatever, and I don't think you're going to make it.
They do bad at Celtic and all the clubs do, right?
Barnsley, Hull, Burnley. He's Black. Did he play for Blackpool as well?
Can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, what a career! You know, when he came back to the turf, you know, 80 odd goals. You know, in his time here, he just bagged goals for fun. But like I say, it's just you just hope. Certainly now that we've got all the the Barnfield Centre and what have you, and you'd like to think that it's going to start showing fruition over these next couple of years. Now it's been there a year or 2. Yeah, we just start to see 1 or 2 filter through. You know, the next McNeil, the next Rodriguez, the next Payton, whoever. But if it starts churning and starts making
that Lewis Richardson seems like he's making a name for himself.
Don't they? Rave about it. But yeah, you know, if it can start just producing 1 or 2, then it pays for itself, doesn't it?
Of course it does. So on that Cardiff result, going back to it. As much as it's mathematically not confirmed,
it's as good as.
It's in the bag, isn't it?
I think as we record now, Cardiff Brighton, isn't it? That might just open it for me, and I've said it since Christmas.
I've said Brighton haven't been great. Even when we played them back in January, no,
February.
Even then, I don't think since then they've been.
Half time, Brighton 0, Cardiff 1. That opens it right back up.
Big time. Does that take it to a 2-point gap between them two?
As it stands, 17th place Brighton on 33 points, but with a game in hand over Cardiff on 31 points. But I think Brighton's game in hand is Chelsea. I tell you something, I saw the odds at weekend of 7-1 for Brighton to go down. I really would not bet against that,
They've not been great over these last couple of games at all.
I think you could look back.
And also the Bournemouth game. Bournemouth had gone something like 6 without a win.
Something like that.
Obviously, we took a win against them, and then they went and absolutely annihilated Brighton.
And then some. Don't get me wrong, I'm not Cardiff's biggest fan by any stretch, and certainly not Neil Warnock's biggest fan. However, just with a few of the Brighton fans' behaviour, Chris Hughton's attitude towards Burnley over various bits of stuff, not particularly keen on him. I really wouldn't mind if either of them went. I don't think I'd be particularly bothered over one or the other.
No.
I really wouldn't. I think, we all know what happened on Saturday against Cardiff after the game, and nobody wants to see those scenes. But I think we equally, we'll touch on it, that I don't think people want to see the scenes of people, sort of tweeting and posting on Facebook the stuff that they saw, which, may have been fueled by alcohol, but sadly doesn't make it right, does it? But no. The fighting was just, absolutely disgusting. The fact that there was elderly people, there were children being caught up in that. Nobody wants to see scenes like that.
It just reminded me of Middlesbrough a few years back. They all got on coach like nothing was the problem, the result was as it were at the time, and then they piled out at back door, fire door at back, and they all started wading in, and it's ugly scenes to see, and it's Cardiff have got a lot on the plate already. They're combating this Salafi thing, which is a complete different thing. I don't even want us to get into, because It's completely just blown me how Cardiff think that they can call him a bluebird, but yet they won't cough up money or it's. But anyway,
it's a whole other story, isn't it? But,
yeah.
But
for them to come out and just kick off after that, why?
I think it was always going to do, I mean, certainly with clubs like that, I mean, we're not saying it's every Cardiff fan, not by a long stretch. We're not naive enough to think that it is every Cardiff fan. Like with most clubs, it's a small minority. However, I think the reputation precedes them a little bit, and I think everybody knew that if Burnley beat Cardiff, that Cardiff fans, a small section of them, would be kicking off with anybody who walked past in anything claret. So, I don't want to slate the police, but I don't think it was particularly well policed. It was clear that there was trouble kicking off left, right and centre.
Yeah. Even before kick-off, as we were walking down past cricket field, they were mouthing off.
Yeah.
Trying to start, trouble and stuff. And end of the day, you can turn a blind eye to it. But there's always going to be, like I say, I'm not saying it's just Cardiff fans. There's going to be a minority of Burnley fans that are fueling them and carrying it on. But
it's a sad state of affairs that people still feel that they need to go to a football match and just go looking for fighting. It's absolutely pointless. It makes you look a little bit stupid. It makes you look a little bit uneducated. And let's be honest, what do you get out of it? What do you really get out of it? You crack someone.
Yeah. A band.
It's idiots being idiots, and I think that's all we really need to sort of say on the matter. Really, it is just idiotic behaviour. There's people who give it large, and you just think, pipe down. No, give it a rest. You're just making yourself look a bit of a tit. But like I say, we don't want to get sort of too heavily involved in the political side of what went on Saturday. I think the main thing for us were, we pulled 11 points clear. It was a big win. And one thing I will say, the atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. I think it's been a long while since I've come away thinking I've enjoyed the atmosphere on the turf.
Yeah.
And credit to the club, there were a lot of people mocking about these flags and the scarves, and it was gimmicky and this, that, and other. But these are the same people who've watched Leicester City put these flags, scarves, whatever on for the club and said, why don't Burnley do something like that? And then when they do, they get slated for it. So you're never ever going to win with every Burnley fan. You can't keep every Burnley fan happy. Absolute impossibility.
No.
But fair play to the club for what they did. And it worked a treat. The atmosphere was absolutely superb.
You could see even at the whenever Chris would put ball back at net, scarves were being swung around, flags were being waved about.
It was brilliant.
It weren't just at kick-off where people decided to pick a flag up, pick a scarf up, and start waving it around. They used them throughout 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And they sang. Going back to the Wolves game as well, we had Hellman come over. That drummed up an atmosphere.
Yeah.
They drummed up a massive atmosphere, and ever since, there's been the odd chant that's been picked up and stuff, and
that's what it's all about. It's all about creating atmosphere. I mean,
of course
I've got a belting video which I'll play a clip of, and just hearing that, the chants, people up there singing and dancing and chanting. It's what's going on. The football's all about. You don't want to see a quiet turf more, because that's not what it's ever been about.
No, exactly. We as a club have always been loud, proud, and especially for the small town that we are.
And this is the thing: it's a small club with a small stadium close to the pitch, and once of it was such an intimidating ground to come to, and it's just fizzled out a little bit. It's got a little bit, I don't know,
stale,
businessy, a bit corporate at times. It's just nice to see a bit of passion back in the stands when we needed it the most on Saturday.
So, safety as good as secure.
It is, as good as. Not mathematical like you say, but as good as.
So our next 4, starting with Chelsea on Easter Monday.
It's almost one of them. These last, I think the Chelsea and City games, they're almost a little bit of a free hit. I wouldn't be too surprised to see us pick a point up at Chelsea.
Yeah, I've said this.
I think the pressure's on them. These 9 points out of 9 have taken the pressure off us a little bit, and nobody's expecting us to go there and get anything.
They're another side though that can turn up one week and beat you 4-0, but then they could play Huddersfield and lose 2-0 or something like that. It's.
I think as well, they've got obviously there's going to be a lot of focus on that Europa League. because if they fail to get into that top 4, there's no Champions League without winning the Europa League. Yeah, I'd be quite content going down there and thinking we can come away with a point.
Yeah, in my head I feel a 2-2.
Took a bloody nil apiece or a 5 apiece, to be honest. But you know, like you say, they're just so indifferent. But the pressure's on them. You know, there's no pressure on us now. I think, you know, although it's not mathematically confirmed, we've got that many teams below us, and you know, like we say, as we speak, we've got Cardiff and Brighton slugging it out. That's doing us a massive favour.
Do you reckon a point apiece in that game would do us more of a favour than anything?
It would. You know, I think, you know, I think somebody worked it out that if Cardiff lost tonight and lost at weekend, that was it. We were safe. If it means, you know, for entertainment value, Cardiff winning tonight's absolutely massive.
Oh yeah.
I can't see Cardiff winning enough games now to catch us regardless.
No. Well, prior to the game with Brighton, I thought. Well, I read that Warner Cassette has come out and said about, you know, you've seen Tiger Woods, you've seen what he's just done in golf. You know, he's not expected to do it, but look at what he's done. Yeah. And to be fair, they've obviously took it on board in that first half, and they obviously won a lot.
There's no comebacks quite like seeing Chris Iwelumo bag an hat-trick at Turf and Jay Rodriguez popping up with a last-minute winner against Preston at Turf. So, like, you know, let's not get them to come back, shall we, about Tiger bloody Woods. But yeah, you know, if Cardiff win tonight, make it interesting at bottom, why not? You know, if it drags Brighton in there and gets them twitching, then, you know, I'm all for it. You know, it's going to make an interesting end to the season, because like I say, I can't see Cardiff aren't going to win the next 5 games and overtake us. You know, it just isn't going to happen.
Either way, it's going to be between them two, isn't it? Yeah. Cardiff and Brighton. It's basically one of their names is going back to the Sky Bet Championship.
After Chelsea, we've got, is it City at home?
City at home. This is at the Turf. We don't do too bad, but then yet again, City and Liverpool are fighting it out for that. Usually, you'd have Liverpool nowhere near, and City bloody 12 points adrift at top, and it'd just be one of them games where, oh, okay, we've lost, whatever, on to the next one.
I think the thing is, what gets me is that there's Man City fans coming out on social media and saying that they're more worried about coming to the Turf than they are about playing United.
Yeah, I mean, that says something, doesn't it?
It does, and I think they know that, you know, when you come here, you're
going to get a game.
You know, I mean, it's great to see that we do step it up for the bigger teams. I think there's been times when we thought we'd like to see us a little bit more of an effort against the Huddersfields and what have you, but we don't seem to just turn it up a notch. I think the atmosphere picks up on that. So yeah, again, if it's anything other than a hammering against City, it's a good result, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, our stats look good against reigning champions. So
we'll see on that one. I mean, I think City they'll want it that much, knowing what's at stake.
Yeah.
I can't see them doing anything but turn up here with a full strength side. But you just never know, do you? You never.
No, I mean, look at the Burnley. Look at the us against Spurs.
That was, for me, the performance of the season.
Yeah. Nobody expected it. We didn't even probably hit second gear, to be quite honest with you. We did the basics. We went back to basics and we got the result. But that's when it takes us from City to revenge at Goodison Park. I'm not saying we're gonna, you know, repeat the score. Yeah, I'd take a 5-1, but
could have played you out. That on Boxing Day, that has got to be the worst performance.
It's up with that City defeating 0-9, isn't it?
Yeah. And we touched about it before, haven't we? You know, and then people know my opinions on the keeper situation at the Turf. I really, really, really do not blame Joe Hart for 5 goals on Boxing Day. I still stand by the statement that he had 3 centre backs at 6 foot plus in front of him, because we played a 5-3-2, whatever it were, and it didn't work. But he had 3 centre backs in front and not one made a challenge to win a header. It was one of the most dismal performances I've seen at Turf in a long while. Just even thinking about it depresses me.
Do you reckon we can get a result out of that at Goodison Park?
Yeah, because I think you look at Everton, they're another team, aren't they? You know, like we mentioned a little bit earlier on this podcast, that
They're not really fighting for anything, are they?
it's one of those sort of finishing with a whimper. I mean, I know they've had a couple of decent results. You know, they beat Arsenal not long back, didn't they? And fully deserved it. But they're another one. You know, they'll beat a team like Arsenal and they'll go and struggle against somebody that they should be going out beating. And again, with the money they've spent, it must be upwards of 300 million quid they've spent these last few years.
Yeah, I mean, who did it start off with? Koeman?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when he was there, you know, 30 million here, 30 million there, 25 on him, and you know, like 20 odd million spent on that Cenk Tosun, and he's not a bad player, but he can't get it team much.
Striker wise, I mean, they even bought that Umane.
Umane, yeah. He was at Cardiff and hasn't scored. Almost it's him who scored tonight.
Eat your words, Peter.
Yeah, probably. But like Richarlison, what was that, 50 million quid?
Yeah.
Sigurdsson, 45 million quid. Michael Keane, 30 million quid. It's crazy money for a club who traditionally never really spent that.
David Klassen, another one.
Yeah.
Signed him and they've shipped him out.
What was he? Like 20 odd million quid, weren't they? But some frightening sums of money for a club who, and I'm not being disrespectful, you know, because I've got some Everton supporting mates and I know you've got Everton supporting family. They're very much also rans, aren't they? You know, they never look like winning a trophy.
No.
They never look like they're going to... I mean, I know they did a few years back, but since, despite all this investment, they don't look like challenging top six.
No.
They're just almost like a Wolves, a Watford, a Southampton... not Southampton, sorry, a Leicester, and us last season.
But then yet again, they've always been like that. If you take it back to the Moyes era, they've pretty much lingered around that... What?
6th and 10th.
6th and 10th, yeah. So, they've always tried to be like... You know, a Europa League. If they get Europa League, that's a success.
And then when they've got there, let's be honest, it's hardly been a success, has it? I mean,
no.
They've got some pacings when Unsworth were in charge. They got to group stages, didn't they? And they were absolutely dire.
I used to look at Everton though when we were, you know, an ever present in the Championship. I used to look at Everton as that's the kind of club we'd be in the Premier League. That's what you thought. Yeah,
aspire to be.
Like,
yeah.
They were old school. They didn't splash cash like they do now.
No.
Like they do now, but they didn't splash the cash. They, you know, Bill Kenwright, weren't it? You know,
is it Mashiri who's gone in or whatever he's called?
But they signed players like we did from lower leagues. They signed Tim Cahill, and look at the kind of player he became.
Superb. Brilliant.
Probably one of the best midfielders in Premier League in that period.
I had to laugh when they signed that Richarlison and he said that he grew up watching Everton. Like, yeah, come off it. Yeah, you sat there at home watching Victor and Ichibi, weren't you? Come off it, lad. Yeah, I think I probably watched more of Everton than he did. Let's not lie about it. You've gone there for money, mate. They're a funny club, and again, it's one of them that they could put 5 past us again, or we'll go there and we'll sneak a 1 or a 2-0 win. You know, it is one of those games that can go either way again, and there's just so many of them. Because like with the Watford, you know, you can go and beat a Watford, you can beat a Leicester. We can on this day beat anybody in this division, and we've proved it.
Yeah.
You know, it's mad to think that if we'd have had the form that we've had this second half of the season, in the first half, we'd have been challenging for the title. It's ridiculous to say it, but that's the way it is. I mean,
I think there was something I saw earlier, something like stats in results since Boxing Day. Something I think would be 5th in Premier League.
Barney. Imagine if you carried on that first half of the season with results like that. You'd been top 3. Without a shadow of a doubt, you'd have been top 3.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
It just shows how easily it turns. I mean, what is it that we've picked up? Is it 21 points since that Everton defeat?
Yeah. Wow.
It's more than that, wasn't it? We're at 12 points we were on. It'll be 27 points, won't it?
Yeah.
27 points since Everton. It's great form, and I think if we out of Chelsea, City, Everton, Arsenal, bear in mind I said 10 points from our last 7 games, and we've got 9 after the first 3. Out of these last 4 games, I'm going to go for...
I'd happily take 2 points.
I think there's 5 points in there myself.
You reckon? I'd happily take 2.
Oh yeah.
Bare minimum.
I'd happily take nothing at all if it means we stop up, you know.
Oh yeah.
Point at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Point at Everton. Beat Arsenal. I've said that. Also,
Yeah,
you
you
beat Arsenal.
Yeah, I've said that. See, I've said that. I've said about that we'd probably get something against Arsenal, mate, like guess pretty much to the Everton game, like another revenge thing. How many times we've conceded in 9 minutes against Arsenal?
If Peter Crouch is back fit for the Arsenal game, and we get a 94th minute penalty, if Dash doesn't bring Peter Crouch on to score his one and only Burnley goal, I'll be devastated.
I think the roof would come off Turf Moor, wouldn't it? You could just imagine it now. Peter Crouch just sneaks in front of, is it Liechtensteiner? Just literally peels in front of him, bang, back at net.
You know, I'm going to say...
Leno becomes Jared Leno and just sat there doing note.
I'm going to say Burnley Football Club, if anybody at the football club's listening to this, if Peter Crouch scores and we beat Arsenal last game of the season, I will be streaking naked across Turf Moor, and I have absolutely no care in the world whatsoever. You will be seeing my... Yes.
His derriere. His Derry Lee. And I also know his contact details and whereabouts. So if Burnley Football Club you want to know where
I set it on board. Just behind that. But no, you know, I really do think that I think we'll be beating Arsenal, because I think by then I think that top four will be near enough decided. Other than maybe the title itself, I think the top four there'll probably be a little bit of a breakaway because there's a couple of clubs playing each other, so it'll probably just start to open up a little bit. Top four for me, not in any particular order, will be City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal. I can see United and Chelsea missing out, personally.
So, final thought, who's getting that last relegation spot? Huddersfield gone, Fulham gone. Who are you picking? Brighton?
And I don't think it's even so much because I can see Cardiff picking up a lot of points. I just can't see where Brighton's next point's coming from. And they've been on such a slippery slope. I mean, the fact that we went down there and battered them. None of us who went down that day thought we're going to come away with a 3-1 win, having got a penalty, and got away with a Jeff Hendrick handball when he pretty much carried it out at the area and threw it to halfway line. They've just been on such a slide every week. I just keep saying, Brighton are going. And if it stays 1-0 to Cardiff or Cardiff win tonight, that blows it wide open.
Oh, then yet again, is that going to be a eye opener for Brighton?
I don't think it will. I mean, if your form hasn't alarmed you enough. Oh, sorry, Cardiff 2-0 as we speak.
Oh,
and it wasn't Umar Niasse who scored. It was Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, and Sean Morrison has just got another one.
Yeah.
I tell you something. If Brighton don't though, I can't see Houghton keeping his job there with that form.
No, not a chance.
I tell you something, that's a bloody big win for Cardiff if that stays like that.
That'll gear him up. That. So yeah, you're probably right. I was gonna say Brighton. I was gonna side with you and Brighton, but there was just something in the back of my mind that says the only reason why I'd have said Brighton is because there's something in the back of my mind that says Cardiff last day of season need to win to stay up. Brighton are already 2-0 down, and in 9 minutes at game, you see, I don't know, Sol Bamba come up with a 90th minute winner against United at Old Trafford.
I mean, the thing is, who was it? Was it Blackpool when they were in the Prem and they went to Old Trafford and they were beating United, weren't they? With that last game of the season or whatever it was. Stranger things have happened.
Did it finish 4-2? Something like that.
I mean, I think the only downside looking at that table at the minute is Brighton's goal difference far outweighs that of Cardiff's. Brighton's on -22, Cardiff's -33. So that's almost like a bit of a point in itself. It only takes a couple of bad results though.
Well, yeah, and like you just said, you can't see where Brighton's results are coming from.
I mean, what have we got coming up this weekend? Brighton have got Wolves, so certainly no easy game.
That'll be a tough game.
Cardiff are at home to Liverpool on Sunday. I tell you something, you wouldn't bet against Warnock beating Liverpool. Liverpool look good this season. I'm not disputing that whatsoever. But Warnock upsetting the regime. I know where you'd be if you fancied you look at maybe winning a shock few quid. It'd be that on Sunday.
You reckon? You heard it there, guys. It's called it. So you're going Brighton, final spot.
Brighton.
That's it, Brian.
We are going out, say we are going out! We are going out, say we are going out!
So, Matt B's Burnley Football Club women's side, 3-0 win the league.
Champions, back-to-back promotions. Credit to them, takes them going, whatever level.
It does, I mean...
You've got to do it.
It's a massive achievement on the aspect that the club kind of only just, took an interest into the women's side of the game, really. It's kind of new to Burnley Football Club, is that venture. There's always been a Burnley ladies team and things like that, but now that the football club have kind of had an input, and obviously Matt being
in shape, hasn't it? It's fair play to
done
them.
really well.
I think whatever level, whether it's male or female football, to go and do that, back-to-back promotions, and win the title on your way to the Northwest Premier League, whatever it is that they're going to be competing in next season. Then fair play to them. It takes them going, and if they can keep that momentum going, which upwards momentum's the best momentum you can have. I mean,
of course it is.
It sounds daft. You only got to look the opposite way and look at a club like Sunderland with downwards momentum. It can take you completely the wrong way, but having that upwards drive like that, credit to everybody there. The managers, the players, the staff, every one of them. Hold your heads high, because that's a superb achievement.
Yeah. So this is just a segment of the podcast where we just wanted to pass on our congratulations to the BFC women's team. We'd also like to pass on congratulations to Scott Cunliffe as well, who's doing the Runaway challenge. He started his challenge to Chelsea today. His last, his last long distance run.
You can't really call it an easy run to Everton. I mean, by any stretch, Crash can
barely
run a bath, never mind run to Everton. But no, what a superb achievement. He's made over the season. Some of the trips he's done are just doing better thinking about it, are they?
No, I mean we saw him down at Brighton, didn't we? And
he still looked in better shape than most of us.
He looked like he just got off the coach, and he's just got on. And
now, has he just got off the coach? I mean, is he really doing these runs, or is he just recording a few short clips, just like maybe stopping along that way?
When he stops on coach, and they're like, "Oh, stop, pull over! I need a whiz," and he just takes a quick video.
No, fair play. I mean, it's a fantastic achievement. To have started at Southampton all those months back. Like you say, the trips to Brighton, the Bournemouths, and all the London clubs. To Newcastle it was a Wednesday night that he to run up there for. You just think, absolute phenomenal achievement. I mean,
plus battling the elements as well.
Yeah, certainly through the winter months. I mean, it's not even particularly pleasant at the minute, is it? I mean, I know it's got a little bit milder, but you think these last few weeks have been freezing. But, fair play to the lad. I mean, he must have had a few jars the night he thought about running to every away game. I think it'd take me a few scoops or something to think of that idea.
Yeah, definitely.
But then to see it through, what an achievement. He's had to alter the target of what he wanted to raise because he smashed his first target, and fair play. I mean, you'd like to think that if he was to fall short of his target, that the club or dare I say it, the players might just think, what, come on, let's get into that target, because if there's a man who deserves to raise the kind of money he was targeting to raise, I think it's Scott. It's such an achievement.
Yeah, so well done to you, and also well done to all those that have joined you on those runs as well. All those that have plucked up the courage to even, some of you that haven't even ran before have just plucked up the courage to do it, or even just gone, half the distance with him and stuff. But yeah, massive congratulations to you all.
I think as well, just to finish on that note as well, I think, a big acknowledgement to the clubs as well, who took the time to pick up on what he was doing and meet him at his destination. There's a lot of clubs where, there's been a few people there from each club just representing the club he was running to and congratulating him on such an achievement, and thoroughly well deserved. I mean, it takes some steel to be able to do that, not just physically, but, like he's mentioned in some of his videos that you watch, the mental side of it. It must be such a lonely place to be in, and that to keep yourself going, certainly for some of the distances, like best part of 280 odd miles to Brighton, one of his longest trips. You think, what a run, and to do that largely on your own and keep the mental capacity to keep yourself going day in day out and get there. Like you said, the physical side of it, it goes by the by. I mean, the man's a machine to be able to do all these runs the way that he has, but mentally. I think from a man's point of view, there's probably not enough focus on mental health, and we all know the issues on that and trying to raise awareness for that. But what a man, what an unbelievable bloke he is. You know, credit to him for doing what he's done. I think that's just about us, isn't it?
Yeah, just about. I think basically what we're going to do is there'll probably be one more podcast now till the end of the season. Well, at the end of the season, sorry, and
do a long old recap.
A recap of the season, I reckon. Do we do a recap of the season, or do we do the last 4 games and then maybe another podcast of a recap?
I don't see how we feel. It depends whether the technology works this time.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that season recap, Jesus. Not sure the memory can go back to July, to be honest.
I don't reckon my phone memory will go back to that.
But, you know, again, thanks for sticking with us if you're still here, still listening to us drone on about everything to do with Burnley, not to do with Burnley, and witching on about all sorts. But, you know, we do appreciate you sticking with us, and, you know, we would like to think next season we're going to ramp it up a gear and maybe do a few videos. You know, we're going to be, hopefully, you know, might even think about getting around the club on match days and, you know, maybe interviewing 1 or 2 fans after the game. So if people want to get involved, absolutely give us a shout.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys.